Things moved very fast after September 11th. The government knew that we were vulnerable to attacks and that our systems could be overloaded really quickly, and that it needed a strong volunteer base.
September 11th proved that we weren't ready.
And so that became one of the things that we started to do, was to recruit volunteers who could help support the health and medical operations in a disaster setting.
My thought was, I wasn't going to be defeated by that event, that I wasn't going to be afraid, and I was going to be prepared next time. So the MRC, when I heard about it, it was the perfect fit for what I wanted to do.
The MRC is a group of volunteers, both medical and non-medical, that want to help their community by volunteering, educating the community, and helping during disasters.
A lot of times when something happens, people want to respond, they want to help. And this is a mechanism for people to do that, and for them to do it in a controlled fashion, because the worst thing in a disaster is for people to show up and not know what they're doing and try to help, and they cause more of a problem. And so this makes that controlled, and I think it really helps the state as a whole be prepared for these emergencies.
We just have a certain number of staff, and when we have a large-scale disaster, we really need to supplement that with trained volunteers. And so it's really mission critical for us to have these groups of folks all across the state.
Kentucky is among the top 10 in presidentially declared disasters in the nation. And I think that's for a number of different reasons. One is our geography as far as where we are in the nation, because it makes us prone to ice storms and tornadoes. And then also the waterways that we have in Kentucky make us prone to flooding.
Being an MRC volunteer is a way for you to get your credentialed, get your background check, and you're ready to respond.
I think the MRC really represents a sort of grassroots, locally organized system for the registration and organization and training and deployment of volunteers, primarily within their own community. And I think that participation not only enhances the preparedness of the state to deal with disasters and emergencies, but also strengthens communities.
K-Helps is our database for the volunteers. That's how we credential volunteers. We keep track of their training, what level training they've had, and it's our way to contact the volunteers.
I think overall, though, MRC and K-Helps, we're here to prepare our communities for the worst, and hopefully we never ever have to do any of that. But our hope is that they'll be more prepared.
A lot of times in disasters, people will not leave their pets.
We tried to figure out a way that we could get a sheltering system for pets that would keep them as close to the owners as possible. And we were gifted a FEMA trailer, which we designed to be a mobile pet shelter.
We wanted it to be a safe haven for their pet, so they would feel safe leaving their home and bringing their pet there, so they could, get to a safe shelter.
So we have fully equipped first aid, we have cages, and we're all certified in animal CPR.
Tonight we are conducting a training for first responder rehab.
We provide lots of free training. We do free CPR classes, we do free ICS, incident command structure classes. A lot of the trainings that you need to be able to respond to these events we provide, and we provide it for free.
You learn a lot. Disaster preparedness, flooding, what to do with your animals in cases of disaster.
In order to be an approved volunteer, all you have to do is sign up on K-Helps. You take 4 online courses at your pace. They also provide those in person as well for those that don't have online abilities. And then you get your background check and your credentials checked, and you're good to go. We are really, really enthusiastically searching for doctors, nurses, EMTs, paramedics, anybody in the health and medical field, pharmacists, but we'll take anybody.
You don't have to be a medical professional to be an MRC, because obviously we need doctors and nurses and therapists and veterinarians and all those people, but we also need someone to direct the traffic and answer the phones, someone who can pass out a bottle of water or a bag of potato chips. We need people, we just need willing hands.
We definitely need any and everyone who's willing to help. It takes a very special person to volunteer, and those are the people that we're looking for.
Been a volunteer since it began, which is about 10 years in September. My background is in safety and sanitation. I just felt that I needed to give back to the community. I had worked for 25 years, and I just felt that I needed to do something for Boyd County.
We need engineers that know about cranes or, tonnage if we have to lift things. So there's a spot for everybody in the Medical Reserve Corps.
Started off where I really wanted to give back to the community. I'm at a point in my career where my kids are older and it's time to give back to the community.
I became involved about 5 years ago to help with immunizations. That was the influenza panic that we had here.
I know the community needed a bilingual individual to help in case there was a medical emergency or some kind of natural disaster. So when they asked me to be part of the team, I agreed.
While we have over 4,000 volunteers in the state, there is always a need for more volunteers.
You should be a volunteer right now. You should get on K-Helps, sign up, and your unit leader will contact you, and you can start your training at your own pace. And you can move up the training ladder as fast or as slowly as you want.
The MRC doesn't take a lot of time, so it's easy to plug that into your routine.
Being prepared is, they say in football, the best defense is a good offense. So be prepared. It's just like Boy Scouts, be prepared, be ready. And that's what we try to do.
People were not prepared personally, and that's the way it is with the public in general quite often. They think, well, that's not going to happen, or they don't think ahead. If I'm prepared and I know that we have this reserve corps here, then I know my family's going to be okay.
You can't wait until there's an emergency on your doorstep and then think, oh gosh, what do I do now? Just all the disasters that have happened in this country in the last several years, it just makes people aware that there's a need there to be ready for the unexpected.
If you volunteer your time, it's not hard. The training is excellent. It makes you feel good. And if it's medical things that are making you afraid, I don't know any medical background. Like I said, they can find a spot for you. There's always something that we can do. We just have to have the volunteers.
You never know if it's going to be you. So other people need your help. Animals need your help. Go volunteer, even if it's just an hour a week. A few minutes a week.
It's a great way to help the community you live in, help your family, and help yourself.
Whenever you volunteer, whenever you give of yourself, selflessly, the rewards are so much better, so much more personal and meaningful.
What kind of people volunteer? People like me.
I volunteer, and you can too.
Por favor, tomen tiempo de ser voluntarios. Su comunidad los necesita. Gracias.